Picture this: a college quarterback flashes a diamond-studded wristwatch at midfield, drops 400 passing yards on a ranked opponent that night, and wakes up the next morning to 6 media requests, 2 new endorsement offers, and a merchandise royalty report that would make some NFL backups jealous. His name is Shedeur Sanders, and in the span of 18 months, he has turned college football into Silicon Valley. Part sport, part startup, all disruption. Most people still see Shedeur through a narrow lens. Son of Coach Prime Sanders, social media showman, swagger with a side of sidearm. But zoom out and you notice something bigger. The kid is a walking case study in how the NCAA's economic order is cracking, live on national television. Start with his story. Born in 2002, raised on the sideline of pro stadiums, Shedeur spent his early years watching his dad leverage brand deals before brand deals were cool. Instead of family bedtime stories, he got marketing masterclasses. Why Nike matters more than endorsements. How highlight reels become currency, where charisma beats coverage. By high school, he was throwing 50-yard lasers and editing his own highlight tapes with TikTok cuts and trap beats. The combination of arm talent and algorithm savvy made him a 4-star recruit. The decision to follow his dad to Jackson State made him interesting. Torching defenses for 3,700 yards and 40 touchdowns made him a headline. Then Deion bolted for Colorado and took the whole sandbox with him. ESPN cameras at the first winter workout. YouTube vlogs with millions of views before spring practice. Shedeur, now the face of the move, used every rep like a TikTok hook. Quick, clean, viral. When the Buffaloes shocked TCU in Week 1, his post-game flex, lifting that luxury watch to remind doubters of the time, spiked social mentions by 43,000%. Within 48 hours, his Instagram added 300,000 followers, and Mercedes-Benz called to upgrade the NIL fleet. That's the first shock to the NCAA: velocity. In the old model, a Heisman moment took seasons to monetize. In 2025, it takes a single Saturday and the right camera angle. Shedeur's NIL stack, already sitting north of $4.5 million, jumped an estimated 8% on that weekend alone. Meanwhile, Colorado sold out season tickets. The Pac-12 inked an emergency streaming bonus clause, and local hotels reported the best September occupancy in a decade. One quarterback, one game, millions in real economic impact. Second shock: leverage. The NCAA spent decades preaching amateurism, play for the love of the game, while universities banked billion-dollar media checks. NIL flipped that script, but Shedeur is flipping it again. He's proving that top talent can treat college as a profit center, not a waiting room. Before, leaving early for the draft was the only way to secure generational money. Now the calculus is different. A late first-round rookie deal pays maybe $3 million per year after tax. Shedeur's NIL floor is already there, with upside that scales each Saturday he stays healthy and on camera. If Colorado trends, he trends. If he trends, sponsors pay. Suddenly staying in school might be the richer move, the safer move, and the louder move for future deals, especially when Coach Prime has built a content factory around him. Third shock: control. College coaches once controlled the message, the media schedule, the post-game podium. Coach Prime hands the mic to the players, then films it in 4K. Opposing programs worry about game tape. Colorado worries about YouTube thumbnails. Recruits notice. High school stars touring facilities now ask athletic directors about production studios, NIL coordinators, brand strategy mentors. They want Shedeur's blueprint, a place to ball out and cash in. Schools without that infrastructure? They're sending faxes in an era of Instagram DMs. Fourth shock: culture. The watch flex wasn't random, it was brand architecture. Shedeur's public persona, confidence bordering on cocky, glazed with humor, generates polarizing viral loops. Old school pundits call it disrespectful. Gen Z calls it content. Either way, engagement skyrockets. Brands love engagement, so the persona becomes an asset, not a distraction. That rewrites the unwritten rules of act like you've been there. In the NIL era, acting like you've been there is worth less than acting like you own the moment and can sell the clip. But the biggest shock: precedent. Every NIL era freshman watches Shedeur prove you don't have to be at Alabama or Ohio State to dominate the conversation. The playbook now reads: bring your audience with you, turn the camera outward, monetize in real time, then win enough games to keep the story electric. The NCAA can't police that. They can't cap follower counts or charisma. They can't limit entrepreneurial hustle without inviting antitrust lawsuits. The old guard is stuck rewriting compliance memos while Shedeur releases another behind-the-scenes vlog sponsored by a headphone company. People ask, is this sustainable? Absolutely. Because attention is sustainable if you feed it. Colorado might lose games. Injuries might happen, but the genie is out. Other quarterbacks will copy the formula. Basketball phenoms will remix it. Olympic swimmers will find niche sponsors that value authenticity over reach. Brands desperate for credible storytellers will bypass leagues and go straight to athletes, locking in deals that double as content budgets. Universities will scramble to build on campus NIL agencies, pitching them in recruiting battles like they once pitched weight rooms. Critics worry about locker room jealousy, about a divided focus, about the purity of sport. Those concerns are valid but secondary. The economics have changed because the audience has changed. Fans don't just consume games, they consume personalities. Day-in-the-life vlogs, unfiltered podcasts. Shedeur is simply the first college star to execute a pro-level multimedia strategy at scale, blending game performance with influencer cadence. 10 years ago, that required ESPN access. Today, it requires an iPhone, Wi-Fi, and a quarterback who understands cuts and captions. Where does the NCAA go from here? They have 3 options. 1. Fight the tide, try to tighten NIL rules, cap earnings, or add endorsement taxes. Legal teams are already licking their chops. 2. Ride the wave, help athletes commercialize while securing a slice for athletic departments. Some conferences are drafting revenue-sharing proposals tied to media rights, hoping to keep stars on campus longer. 3. Reinvent. Abandon the amateur model altogether and transition to an open market with salary caps, collective bargaining, and transparent revenue splits. That sounds radical until you remember that college athletics already functions like a pro league, just one that historically skipped paying its labor. As for Shedeur, his future is a choose-your-own adventure. Declare for the draft, and he's a first-round pick with instant national brand awareness. Stay another year, and he could cross 8 figures in NIL money, graduate with 0 debt in a media empire, then negotiate with NFL teams from a position of unprecedented leverage. He can demand endorsement carve-outs, personal brand clauses, maybe even partial guarantees tied to social performance metrics. Quarterbacks have always been valuable. Now they're franchisable before they ever sign a pro contract. And that is the final shock: empowerment. For decades, the phrase student athlete was used to justify unpaid labor. Shedeur Sanders has flipped that to athlete entrepreneur, and the market loves it. Whether you cheer his highlights or hate the watch flex, the scoreboard is undeniable. Attention converts to dollars faster than touchdowns convert to points. The playbook is updated, the pocket is profitable, and the future of college sports wears a luxury timepiece and smiles for the camera because that clip, like this game, will pay. Zoom out to the broader economy and the numbers get even louder. Sports sponsorship revenue worldwide hit $103 billion last year, but traditional ad channels from TV spots to static billboards grew just 3%. Meanwhile, athlete-driven social activations jumped 21%. Brands aren't dumb, they follow yield. Why overpay for a 30-second spot during March Madness when a single Sanders Brothers vlog delivers the same demographic, offers comment section feedback, and lives forever on demand? Media planners have quietly shifted 10% of college sports budgets into direct athlete collaborations, and insiders expect that share to double by 2020. The ripple doesn't stop at revenue. Recruiting analytics firms already track star brand value as a data point. A 4-star quarterback with 200,000 followers may grade higher on a coach's board than a silent 5-star, because the follower QB brings sponsor attention that can fund upgraded facilities. Athletic directors, once purely operational, now take meetings with venture funds and merge startups, pitching campus athletes as micro-influencer portfolios. The result is a talent market where charisma scores can influence scholarship allocation. Purists hate it, accountants love it. Athletes finally have negotiating power. Of course, not all that glitters is guaranteed deposit, taxes, agents, brand safety clauses. Every NIL deal hides landmines. A missed tweet can void a contract. A mid-season slump can slash bonus triggers. Shedeur's team reportedly employs a 6-person commercial advisory circle: agent, lawyer, social strategist, accountant, content director, and brand liaison. That overhead alone would bankrupt most college seniors. The takeaway isn't anyone can do it, it's anyone serious must treat it like a business. And businesses require infrastructure, discipline, and crisis plans. There's also the mental toll. Endless cameras mean 0 off days. Shedeur's life is a content funnel. Workouts filmed, meals clipped, downtime mined for personality memes. Balance is elusive. Sources say Colorado sports psych staff runs extra sessions on social media fatigue, teaching athletes to separate self-worth from analytics. Imagine throwing a pick at practice and seeing it loop on TikTok before dinner. Adapt or melt. Then comes locker room economics. One quarterback pulling millions while a starting guard hustles for a free pair of cleats breeds tension. Programs mitigate this with collective NIL pools. Every starter gets a baseline stipend. Stars still chase brand deals on top. It's socialism with capitalist opt-outs. Will it last? Maybe. But as long as Shedeur's production equals hype, teammates tolerate the gap. Performance buys peace. Let's not ignore the NFL vantage. Scouts now evaluate media magnetism alongside footwork. General managers debate whether a rookie quarterback who already commands a 3 million follower tribe could juice jersey sales enough to offset early growing pains. Media revenue sharing in the NFL means that social stardom can literally fund cap hits. Shedeur walks into that conversation armed with receipts. Yet, risk lurks. Remember Johnny Manziel? College charisma, pro implosion. Brands know the cautionary tales. Big voice, short shelf life. That's why Shedeur's arrangement with Brady Brand is telling. Tom Brady doesn't link lightly. Industry whispers mention an equity slice contingent on off-field conduct metrics. If Shedeur stays drama-free, the shares vest. Fail the clause, lose the upside. Welcome to the new morality contracts, brand risk in, personal stakes out. Now envision 2030. High school stars sell live stream rights to their senior seasons. College conferences bundle athlete TikTok channels into streaming packages. ESPN launches Player Pass, a subscription where fans follow individual athletes across sports. In that landscape, the NCAA as governing body must pivot from rulebook police to platform architect, drafting digital rights frameworks, ensuring data privacy, maybe even negotiating group licensing to keep peace. Shedeur's success is the pilot episode. And still, the debate rages. Is this good for the game? Old guard voices argue that NIL distorts parity. Rich programs get richer, personality towns starve small markets. But Colorado was a small market until Coach Prime built a spotlight. That suggests parity now hinges less on legacy and more on innovation. If a program can cultivate storytellers, produce binge-worthy behind-the-scenes footage, and package players as protagonists, they can siphon attention from SEC powerhouses. Creativity becomes currency. Finally, step back to the personal scale. Shedeur Sanders is 23, balancing film study and brand calls, chasing championships and equity shares. He represents a generation raised on Gary Vee soundbites, side hustle culture, and the belief that anonymity is a choice. For them, a scholarship isn't compensation. It's merely the on-ramp. The real highway is influence. So the shocking detail behind Shedeur in the NCAA's future isn't the money or the flash. It's the paradigm. Amateur athletics upgrading to creator capitalism. Every snap a piece of content, every post a potential revenue stream, every athlete a micromedia company. The NCAA can tweak bylaws, but you can't legislate ambition. And if you're listening, wondering what to do with this insight, here's the play call. Athletes, own your narrative early. Parents, teach financial literacy before recruiting letters arrive. Coaches, build content infrastructure yesterday. Brands, partner authentically, or fans will sniff out the cash grab. Fans, support the athletes who share their stories, not just their stat lines. Because the whistle has blown, the drive has started, and the old scoreboard doesn't apply. The future of college sports is already on the field, wearing number 2, checking his watch, and reminding the world that time and attention waits for no institution. One last thing before we wrap, consider the ripple beyond football. Title IX lawyers are already preparing arguments that NIL inequity between men's and women's teams violates equal opportunity mandates. If a star quarterback can bank $5 million but a national title gymnast scrapes $50,000, lawsuits will fly. Shedeur's windfall could inadvertently fast-track revenue sharing for women's sports, accelerating growth that might have taken decades. Broadcast execs are quietly modeling new ad units, dynamic overlays keyed to individual athletes. When Shedeur snaps the ball on a snowy November night, viewers in Denver could see a Beats banner, while audiences in Dallas see a Gatorade spot. Same play, geo-targeted commerce. That technology exists, waiting for scale. Sanders' engagement metrics may provide the proof of concept. And there's a cultural layer, representation. Seeing a young black quarterback own his likeness, negotiate 7-figure deals, and lead boardroom strategy shatters stereotypes about athlete dependence. It shows high school kids that charisma plus competence equals leverage. It shows older boosters that the talent pipeline now speaks fluent entrepreneurship. So when you hear pundits gripe about the watch, remember the context. It's not just jewelry, it's a signal. A signal that time's up on the old order. A signal that value flows where attention goes. A signal that the athlete voice is no longer a whisper but a broadcast. And that signal, bright and undeniable, is why the NCAA's future will be written by players who know their worth and by fans ready to watch a new game entirely. If this breakdown sparked something, share it, debate it, rewind it, and next Saturday, when Shedeur drops back and the camera zooms, look beyond the spiral. See the business plan in motion, the statute book trembling, and the future of college sports unfolding, one viral highlight at a time.